Welcome to RainbowSoul Vodcast, where our Soulstrology comes forward to help you manage your everyday life, with forecasts and deep dives on natal charts and queer perspectives on the planets, transits, and more. A group discussion about upcoming transits with tips on how to read these transits in your own chart. Hollis offers years of wisdom and natal chart knowledge with Brighthawk's positive perspective and LeKross's inquiry. We offer the complete queer astrology experience. Welcome to RainbowSoul. Please help us by subscribing, sharing, and commenting and reviewing. You can also learn where else RainbowSoul is offered on our website at RainbowSoul.show.
Hi there, welcome to RainbowSoul Soulstrology forecast for March 11th through the 17th. Did I say it right?
I think so.
Okay. Dates, numbers, yeah. March 11th through the 17th, and I'm Hollis Taylor. I'm one of your astrologers here today. And, I do a variety of readings. In fact, on Sunday, it'll be right before this is, but you can check out a group called Mystical Connections. That is on Facebook, that sometimes I go live in there and do free little astrology readings, or you're welcome to post your chart on here and I'll be happy to take a look at it during our next broadcast. Okay, so I do astrology readings and all kinds of other readings, and you can find the link to my website in the description.
Hi there, I'm Brighthawk, artist, author, musician, storyteller. Happy to be here. Did I say astrologer? I should probably throw that in. Happy to be here and happy to dive into the stars for this week.
Right?
Yeah, deep dive into the stars. And
I'm LeKross Ortiz, creator of the I forget my own title every single time. A Fool's Journey color journal. There it is. It came back. It did a boomerang, which you can find on Amazon. Working on a couple other things, but not too much. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Okay, and you can find the link to LeKross's book in the description. And if you're on Amazon, you can always just click the author and it will show you all of their books. So if you're looking for the other ones, because I think you have 3, right?
I did, but I did pull them back because it's unfinished and I haven't had time to complete the series. So I decided to complete the series first before I put them back out there. So right now it's just the major arcana that's out there.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. And my friends, we have a forecast for you this week, and I hope that you're coasting through the experiences right now. There's a lot going on in the sky, and so let's take a minute to ground ourselves. So I encourage you to put your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes if you can, feel your bottom on the seat. Take a few deep breaths. And as you become grounded in your body, in your soul, I invite you to imagine yourself walking along an easy path, and you can stop and stare up at the night sky with all of the stars blinking at you. Planets kind of look like stars and have a little bit of a glow. And one particular planet starts to come in closer to you. A planet that, as it even gets closer to you and reflects on you, begins to help you feel beauty within. Beauty all around you. And you recognize this planet as the planet Venus. And as this planet glows just above your head and spins around, you can feel the love and the beauty within it. And how it reminds you of your own self-love and how you feel love for others and for things. She reminds you of some of your favorite attachments here on Earth. And money. She reminds you what feels good in this world. Luxury, and style, and beauty. She's best expressed often in the sign of Taurus. Or in Taurus, she tends to tap into luxury and a good balance of money and having all you need, and some oftentimes more. And when Venus is in Libra, she reminds you of beauty and style. Yet Venus is actually very strong and very fully expressed in both of those expressions of Venus when she is in Pisces. You can always recognize Venus because it is expressed with the symbol for women. And Venus holds that beauty, that luxury, those gifts, and all of the things that attach us to this world here and now. And to self-love and the love for others, deep, unending love, and the depth of love. You find that with Venus in Pisces. Unconditional love is found within Pisces. Venus can tap into that unconditional love, that deep love. And as Venus moves back into the sky, she smiles down to you and reminds you that self-love is the ultimate in healing, always. Self-love, learning to love oneself and to love others. Love is the path to healing. And as Venus tucks herself back up into the sky, we can feel a sense of internal love for ourselves and others, because the more we love ourselves, the more we can love others. And I invite you to just put your hand on your chest and hold that love within you. Allow that love to sink within you deep as you can find it. Deep in your soul. Push that love in. And allow it to fold within you and to hold you in the purest of love. into your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Maybe stretch your hands and wiggle your toes. And open your eyes. And come back to our present here and now on Rainbow Soulstrology Forecast. Woohoo! Well done, Bright Hawk. We appreciate you.
Nice meditation.
Thanks.
Lovely Venus energy.
You know, it's funny. People think that, like, for instance, narcissism, people are like, oh, it's just that they love themselves too much. And I'm like, actually, that's not true. From an actual, like, some of the most evil people in the world that you think are arrogant and self-centered, they actually are some of the most insecure people in the world. They actually don't love themselves, and that's what brings wounding forward. So that's why narcissists are narcissists, and it's sometimes hard for me to tell victims, like, people that have especially like broke up in a narcissist relationship or something like that, or their mom was a narcissist. They're like, no, all they cared about was themselves, and that's true, or at least it feels or seems that way, but they actually don't love themselves. They actually have a huge wound. And that's why I say, if you love yourself, it will be easier to love others. So the more you love yourself, I used to think this was bullshit. I did, really, for 30 years. I thought it was bullshit. I thought the key to everything was to just love others. And that's actually not true. You need to love yourself. And so the more you love yourself, the more your love for others will be pure and true and be more complete and unconditional, actually. So just from a mental health coach person.
That's a great wisdom right there.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to tell victims of narcissists that they have a hard time seeing that or understanding that. But once you get to that understanding, and you start to really look at your narcissistic abuser, you start to realize, oh, I guess they are really insecure. And then you start to realize you usually know as the victim exactly where their wound is. So, yeah. So, all right. So speaking of Venus, and if you were born, I want to tell you this. This is another fact that could be really helpful for people looking at their astrology charts. If you were born with Venus retrograde, you may struggle with loving yourself the way I did for the first 30 years. I had severe mental health problems. I did all sorts of things that were unhealthy, including self-harm. And so I did a lot of things that were really, I sort of I didn't love myself. So if you were born with Venus retrograde and you're just coming up on 30, or you're under 30, or maybe you're 35 and you're still like, why don't I really love myself? And so just know that Venus retrograde, and mine was in a square, it was in hard conversations with things and the whole 9 yards. So just know that Venus retrograde means you might struggle with self-love, but you will master it better. And this goes for any retrograde planet. You may struggle with it when you're young, but by the time you're 40, 50 years old, you will master it better than most. Okay? So, like, even if, like, Jupiter's retrograde, which has a lot to do with money and luck and philosophies and spirituality, same deal. Okay, you might struggle with it when you're younger, but by the time you get older, you're going to master it. Okay, so you're going to master it better than what others do. Okay, so that's the good news about Venus in retrograde. All right, so I'm going to share this week's forecast. All right, I'm just scooch this over. All right. So like I said, this is for March 11th through the 17th. And we've changed our colors, if you didn't notice, in the last couple of weeks for spring. Thanks, Bright Hawk, for doing that. It's very helpful. You know, we should celebrate the seasons, huh? So we're headed into spring with some bright colors. Hopefully flowers are starting to grow. Up here it's still snowing, but we're in the mountains. We're collecting water for you guys down below. It's so good. We got it.
That looks
All
good.
right. That is how it works over here in the West. Um, I sometimes make jokes with people in Nevada, like, it's okay. I'm getting more water supply for you guys right now. And that's the snow. Yeah. So we still have pretty good snow, which is good news, actually. You want to know that we have lots of snow. We have good snowpack up here right now. And it's nice. So we are deep in Pisces season. So hopefully Pisces out there have been enjoying their birthday. And the sun is actually in the beginning of the week is almost conjunct, is coming into a conjunction with Neptune, and I just now am noticing it, that it's pretty strong, and it's in a sextile, which is a comfortable conversation. Usually sextiles are like where they kind of put away their differences. The planets put away their differences and cooperate. And so the sun and Neptune in Pisces. Now Neptune rules Pisces, okay? So the two of them together, that means the sun is going to amplify that Neptune energy. So I just want to say this is March 11th. If you're a psychic or a person that functions on Neptune, that would be like spiritual people, or healers, or if you've had your astrology chart, even if I did it and I told you that you're a Neptune psychic, you have a strong Neptune, this is a good time to do readings and such, because not only it will help you get not only on your own path, but also help others get on their path, if you're doing that sort of thing. Okay. So because Uranus is about being on your path, and so they're having a good conversation. It's a comfortable conversation between Neptune and the sun in this week, probably most of this week. I don't know how past the sun gets past this, but we'll see. As the sun gets into Neptune closer and closer, it's going to amplify the energy of Neptune. Now, sometimes Neptune can be illusional and stuff, but it's usually if it's retrograde in your chart. Sometimes you might need to be careful about what kinds of illusions you're under or what you believe in. You might want to double check that. But most of the time, in this is for for everyone. And so the sun and Neptune conjunct is telling me that's really about like our vision going forward, our projection, and what's where are we headed. Some of us are really going to have a good vision going forward, and to see our life path, be like, I think I'm supposed to do this. And so if you find yourself doing that this week, it's great. That's that Pisces energy, especially the sun and Neptune coming at the late degrees of Pisces, because Neptune rules it. And they're just going to amplify each other, and they're in a good conversation with Uranus. So Uranus is going to put them on their life path. So you're gonna probably see what you're supposed to be doing, or have a vision of what you're supposed to be going. You could probably see it in your head, almost like, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to do this, and then this. And so if you feel or sense any visions within yourself, please, try to hold them, share them with somebody, write them down, because that's the vision you're supposed to be having. And there's still a lot of energy going on in Aries, because Mercury has just moved into Aries. And Mercury moves pretty quick, and the moon's there. And I bet, Bright Hawk, you probably noticed that the moon is in Aries. Can you tell us a little bit more about Aries moon?
Well, we just had a new moon. So the new moon is just the day later, because March 10th is the new moon.
So was the new moon actually in Pisces, or was it in Aries?
It was actually in Pisces, because that's when it was conjunct the sun.
Okay.
And now it's in Aries. So what we remember about The elements is that Aries is fire and the moon is water. So sometimes there's a nervous energy when the moon is in Aries. Sometimes it's like a cat on a hot tin roof. There can be a nervous energy.
Is it a little bit compulsive?
A little bit wound up, a little bit nervous, and wanting to move but not sure how.
Yeah, it makes me think of like even the cat on the hot roof. It's gonna maybe like compulsively do things.
Yeah, and not realize it till after it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's an impulsivity to Aries, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not the moon's nature. Not in the moon's nature. So, Aries has that active orientation. And so, of course, when the moon is in Aries, it's answering to Mars. And Mars is busy having a conversation with Uranus in a square going, okay, wow, and that's that Mars square Uranus, which is a long...
It's all week, right?
Yeah, it's not a short thing. That's big energy, and it could be big, unpredictable energy. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Mars square Uranus thing.
But I think your comment about seeing the path forward is also reflected in the moon, because the moon is conjunct the North Node. So seeing your destiny, seeing your future, seeing, this is what I should do, or this is how I need to create a new strategy, or what have you. That could be good.
Yeah, I've been reading Judith Hill's book about the nodes, and she was she was saying that the South Node, which you can see here, is in Libra, and Mars is having a good conversation with it, is actually in relation to Uranus. She said it's where all the shit comes out. She said,
literally.
She said,
oh my God.
Judith Hill, I'm telling you. She said, it's the anus, that's where all the shit comes out. And so it's actually kind of, it's deep, and it's way more deep, and that the North Node is a little bit more shallow and a little bit more like, well, this is the way you're going, and it hasn't gotten very deep yet. And so because the South Node is where all the deep shit comes out, literally. And so so I find it interesting that Mars is in a trine to there, but in a square to Uranus. So it just I hope that the leaders can be a little bit more in tune with their moon, a little bit more in tune with their vision for the world, because I think most of us would vision a peaceful world. So and Jupiter and Uranus are also coming together. So Jupiter is going to amplify any conversations with Uranus. So yeah, it's a little worrisome with the god of war in a challenging conversation with Uranus. Hopefully the challenging conversations happening right now around war will come to a peace. Well, hopefully we can vision peace, because remember the Sun and Neptune are also coming together. And so that's what I'm going to pray for. But I'm just going to say that it can also be delusional and illusional, where, illusions or delusions of separation, as if we're not all one human race, could come into play. Okay. And Chiron is still with the North Node. I'm hoping they'll be moving away from each other soon.
Well, the eclipses are coming. End of the month and beginning of next month, the eclipses are coming. So first will be the lunar eclipse, then will be the solar eclipse. The first is April 25th, and the second one I think is March 8th.
No, it's the other one, March 25th.
March 25th and April 8th.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Aries and Libra, you are definitely going to be feeling it the most, whatever strong placements you have in Aries or Libra. Of course, eclipses are when the nodes are lit up, and with the full moon, and then with the solar eclipse.
I've been looking at a lot of people's charts recently.
The new moon. Yeah.
I've been looking at a lot of people's charts recently, and frankly, I will say that it really depends on your placements on how the eclipse will affect you. Where the nodes are, and if there are any planets there in Aries or Libra, so you can take a look. Or if you want me to take a look at your chart, I can. You could just have to make a comment, and I'll be happy to look at it next week and try to say, hey, it'll be this part of your life or that part of your life.
Because we use, if you're not familiar, we use new moons to remember that we're planting seeds. So this is the March 10th was the new moon that leads us up to the full moon that is an eclipse. That leads us up to the next new moon, which is also an eclipse. So potent time from a thinning of the veils, opportunity to make your intentions clear, do your magic, do your gratitude, do your clearing out, and getting ready so that when you're planting seeds, you've created space for something new. And how's something new going to come in if it's all a clutter, Mm-hmm. So it's spring. We're headed towards the equinox as well. And this is a powerful time.
It's a very powerful time. So, try to stay present. I would say make sure you're doing some sort of morning practice like yoga or meditation or whatever your practice is, even if you just take a walk or whatever it is. Try to do something that is help you be present in your body and in your mind. So, you can see the visions forward so that, because if you're disassociating and just kind of letting life happen to you, you won't get the downloads for those visions. You won't get it. So you have to stay cued into your life. Now I noticed on Tuesday, that's when Venus moves into Pisces. So, Venus was at the end of Aquarius just on Monday, and then by Tuesday, Venus is going to move into Pisces, and it's actually exalted in Pisces. Well, what does that mean? Exalted means it's at its strongest, and sort of like the meditation went, where I talked about like Venus and Libra, and Venus is the rulership of Libra. And Libra is usually more about like style and beauty, maybe like makeup or costumes or okay, so like there's probably a lot of drag queens with Venus and Libra, okay. All right, and so that's probably
my Venus is in Libra.
Your Venus is in Libra. Oh my God,
there you go.
Okay. So LeKross is very much a drag king that was very much into costumes, right? Yeah. My Venus was in Leo, and so I'm more of the dancing performer king, and LeKross is more of a look at my costume king.
Yeah.
Okay. And
don't look at me, look at the costume.
Oh my God, you're very good at the costuming. Like, holy cow, like, Edward Scissorhands, Prince. I mean, I wouldn't even dream of doing Prince after seeing you do Prince. And I love Prince. Okay. So and so it's Venus in Libra is very much about that kind of stuff. Okay. And you're also really good at makeup, LeKross. Okay. And the masculinizing makeup, which drag kings do makeup. And then, but Venus in Taurus is more like the queen that has all the big dresses, is more like the gay guy that likes to sit back on his yacht. Okay, that's Venus and Taurus. It's not about like, spoiling or whatever. It's just about they like to have the stuff.
Enjoying the good life.
Yeah, they like to have luxury. They want a massage. They want a hot tub. I know a person that's very Taurus based, and they will sit in the hot springs for hours. Like me and her, like, okay, we're done. We're going inside. We'll do something else. And she's still like, I'm gonna stay here. And we're like, okay, you do that. Okay, because we're done. She's still wanting to hang out. Okay, so but if you take those two things, those two sort of ways of experiencing stuff and things and money and put them together, and you combine it with love, because Pisces is a peace loving sign. It loves peace, it loves love. Okay. Pisces wants everyone to love each other. And hopefully, and Pisces can sometimes be one of those, hopefully, they've learned self love, because the more the Pisces learn self love, the less of the victim mentality they will have. Okay. So self love is very important for Pisces. So as Venus enters Pisces, I want you to become aware of, if you have any work to do about self love, you want to do some spells for self love, you want to increase peace in your harmony in your relationships or in your home or something, now's the time to do it. Venus in Pisces, Venus will be there for a little while, for a good while. And that's really what it's about. It's about the depth of love. It's about deep love, because Pisces is incredibly deep. It's a water sign. It's got the two fishes that are kind of chasing each other. Pisces understands all perspectives. That's part of the problem. Um, but no, but that's why they can love even people that are seen as enemies. They still love the person, even though the person is doing mean things to them. They'll fall in love with their abuser. That's love. Love is so deep, they can love everyone, and I really mean that. So, so working on loving yourself, now's a good time. What's the moon up to? Speaking
Well,
of emotions.
right. And so I was just going to say, Tuesday, make it your self-love day. Make it your, how can I take good care of myself? What would be the most love? What would love do? How would love love me right now? And do what's good for you. Is it a bath? Is it a really good meal? Is it appropriate exercise? Is it taking a break, taking a nap, going on a walk, sitting on the earth? No, some places you can do that, some places you can't. But uh, I've been learning more and more about the moon, and so I really wanted to understand, what does it mean when I say avoid moon? And so I've been reading about it. And when we talk about the void time of the moon, we're talking about that last transition when it's in the last section of one sign and going into the other. And there's a moment where it's called a void of course moon. And so it happens every several days. And that time can really vary from a few hours to most of the day, or maybe it happens in the nighttime. So I've been adding that information, and what it means is that time is when the moon is take a break time, meditate, have a bath, take a nap. What it is, that is not, and what it is not good for, or what it is not saying to do, is Aries Mars. It's not launch yourself into a really important meeting or project launch or something where you have to have really great energy and want to be powerful out in the world. This is telling you that's not that moment. This is the moment before that, when you need to go, good job, time for a cup of tea. So Tuesday, it's actually void almost all of the day, 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's quite a bit longer. So that's what that time and the energy is saying. It's right next to Chiron. So definitely is about, how can I, doing meditation would be the perfect thing to be doing, but I know you don't want to meditate all day. But if it's in your control, and you're either a Aries or a Taurus, you're gonna feel it more, because that's that transition. Some people really feel when the moon changes signs, and
Especially if you're Cancer.
especially if you're a Cancer, or you have a strong moon placement, or you have Cancer rising, or Cancer in any of your strong three placements, the sun, moon, or rising. You should have a moon app that tells you where the moon is and what's going on, because you're going to feel it the most. The rest of us, we feel it, but some are going to feel it more. So that's what that energy transition is talking about. So I thought it might be helpful, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
start including it.
Cool. Great. That is helpful. I think it is.
And it's funny because this last week we took our break on a Tuesday because it just worked for us.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to like live in the flow.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, like this week we're gonna have a lot of Pisces, Aries energy, which I'm kind of laughing because my granddaughter is a Pisces Aries cusp. Um, so anyone that's Pisces or Aries, you're definitely gonna probably be feeling a lot of energy, okay? Venus is in your sign, Venus is in Pisces, Saturn's in Pisces, Sun and Neptune are coming into a conjunction in Pisces, and then we have the North Node in Aries that's sort of revving up for this eclipse with Mercury approaching the node and Chiron. I just feel like there's a lot of those energies going on. And then with the moon leaving Aries, of course, like you just mentioned, it's gonna, it's just kind of a so if you're feeling like a little like just it's probably has a lot to do with the stars because Aries is kind of high energy and Pisces is like, yeah, Pisces is, that's the peace and love movement. When the hippies were going around peace and doing the whole peace, love, and take some mushrooms, that was Saturn was in Pisces. Okay, we had a lot of Pisces energy. I'm just saying. Neptune also sometimes rules drugs and alcohol, so please be careful if you or somebody you love is infatuated with those things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when the moon enters Taurus, it loves being in Taurus. It's exalted, is what we call that in the moon in Taurus. We keep talking a lot about Venus because Venus is one of the only planets that rules two signs. It rules Taurus and it rules
Libra.
Libra. And so, thank you. I just want to make sure I was going to say the right thing. And so, that energy really starts to be sweet on the 13th because now you have the moon moving into Taurus where it loves to be. It's going to say hello to Jupiter and Uranus, which is going to amplify that already amped up energy of Jupiter and Jupiter and Uranus, which that's going to be going on for a month or more. You're going to hear us talk about it a lot. And so when the moon is in Taurus, it also is answering to Venus. And it's saying, hi there. And of course, Venus is now in Pisces. So she's like,
love, love everyone. Peace everywhere, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're, big energy, but also I think it has some nice, sweet potential too.
Yeah, the only real challenge is Mars square Uranus, and I really think that is very much about hopefully the moon will pass across that and get our leaders to reflect on do you really want a war? No, you don't. So let's try to find some other way. Okay. Hopefully some leaders can wake up to that, Putin. Can wake up to stop trying to start a war, Putin.
Yeah, because there's a sextile to Saturn, so that is where I also feel positive about the structure could change. Things could change. Let's have a ceasefire already, please.
Yeah, all that energy in Pisces. I just keep praying for the Pisces energy to amplify enough.
Pisceans are great peacemakers. Yes. So let that Piscean peace vibe.
That's why we had that experience in the 60s. And I can assure you that the Vietnam War would have been much worse if it wasn't for the hippies, right? Like if the hippies, having, marches and standing up and doing what they had to do to say we don't like this war, we fucking hate it, and we want peace. And that's actually more important than you think it is. It's actually really important. Okay. So having those kinds of movements are necessary. And I think Mahatma Gandhi really showed us the power behind nonviolent protest. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi showed us the power of peace. And so if you don't know Mahatma Gandhi's story, I encourage you to go watch a documentary some night this week in honor of peace, because that man sort of brought it down. And I think even Martin Luther King makes reference to Mahatma Gandhi,
Sure.
about his ability to find peace. Okay, so it almost never works. Eye for an eye never works. Just ask me. Just it doesn't. Um, so it's better to find some other ways. Now, this I actually thought this takes. I feel like here Pluto trining what's it trining the moon? Okay, and I was just feeling like Pluto trining the moon here is a little bit. It's a little bit far away, but I guess that night it would get closer. So that's actually kind of good because Pluto's in Aquarius and Pluto's very much about the collective, and thinking about the moon there in Taurus, which is kind of saying that could be a very expensive thing to have war. Like that could be some of the thoughts and emotions on Thursday night for people. And hopefully they'll think about that with the moon, answering to Venus and thinking about like financial and the impact of war, because I feel like we're on the edge of war right now, in case you're not paying attention to the world. I hate to deliver that bad news, but that's what's happening. And so we need to all stay focused on the Piscean energy of peace and the Aquarian energy of the collective instead of the other potential energies.
Yes, please. Yes, peace. Yeah. Because the moon is going to be conjunct Uranus and then trine Pluto and square Mars, I really wouldn't plan any surprise dinners or whatever
on Thursday
kind of surprises you think would be fun. I don't think they would go well. I don't know about
not on Thursday.
Not that's a lot of energy right there that I just things could go very differently than you expect. And yeah, that would just be the little warning I would put on that. But
yeah, unexpected things could happen. So try to stay open that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And since the moon goes void from 3:30 to 8:30 in the evening, from the afternoon to the evening.
Is that mountain time?
Yeah, for us.
So the East Coast would be like 5:30. Mm-hmm.
So I would just say, take Thursday night off, or that kind of thing, if you can, if it's possible, or give yourself a break. If there's something that's trying to be one more thing on your list and it's happening on Thursday night, I'm not sure I would say yes. I would reconsider that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And maybe that's
what I've really read is that the void of course moons are really about, okay, we're done in that sign, we're about to go into the next sign, take a bit.
Okay.
Have
take
a
cup breath.
Of tea.
Yeah.
Go for a walk, take a bit.
Okay.
So that's really what I kept reading over and over. And you could focus on leaving one sign and entering the next, and in this case that would be the end of the Taurus moon entering Gemini. So yeah, taking a beat and leaving one energy, is the next one is almost always quite different than the last one, right? So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now on Friday, we still have the Sun and Neptune are they're only 2 degrees away. So this makes that vision by the time you get to Friday, whatever vision you may have had earlier in the week is becoming like truth to you. You're seeing it in your mind's eye, or you're probably sharing it with others, because it's really intense right now. So the Sun and Neptune are almost conjunct, and that just makes me feel like you're gonna find your path. You're gonna you're going to come into a vision that would actually be good, because uh they're both forward, they're both in Pisces, and there's not any hard conversations or anything going on with it, but I do feel like it's amplified because of Neptune being being part of the vision. And as Venus approaches there, and Venus is exalted in Pisces, I just feel like that amplifies the Pisces energy. So I'm thinking, I'm pretty hopeful, even though Mars is still squaring Uranus. Um, but Mars is about the collective. So it could be that there's action taken regarding the collective that's maybe surprising to some of us. Okay. It could be surprising because Uranus is all about surprises, but it will also get us on our path. I feel like Uranus sometimes comes up behind people and kicks them in the butt, and then you like stumble and fall onto your path, and you're kind of like, what just happened? And that's usually a Uranus transit.
Boom.
And you're like, shit, what just happened? But you're on your path, so it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've gone from the fixed earth of Taurus into the um, mutable air of Gemini. And when the moon is in Gemini, of course, it answers to Mercury. And and Mercury is part of that stellium in Aries, that big cluster at the top. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the moon in Gemini with so Mercury also rules two signs, okay? And so it rules Gemini, I think, more because Gemini is a communicator in a way where Gemini will broadcast. Often Gemini will have two faces. Sometimes they'll be two-faced, but sometimes Gemini people will also have sort of like a public face and a private face, okay? And that's sometimes because they're like public speakers. That's that's why Gemini has two faces, because they have this Mercury that has to be expressed usually in public. So thinking about that along with Aries opposite, and Mercury's coming into the North Node, and it's opposite the South Node, also known as the anus of the universe. Judith Hill is so funny. Okay. And so then Mercury is kind of saying, "Hey, let's talk about that vision you're having. Let's talk about where we're going." And that's very much, and Gemini often has a public persona. So or a public face. They just might be one person when they're with their friends, and they're sort of a outspoken person in their family. They're usually an outspoken person in whatever group they're in, okay? And it gets to express differently based on how it's in their chart. They're also pretty good at networking. They might know a lot of different people, and that's sort of the Gemini energy. So if you think of it that way, Mercury in Virgo is expressed differently. And it's a little bit more like grounded, right? Because it's an earth sign. And in Gemini, it's more intellectual. It's up here in the head. Okay. So that's how you want to think of that Mercury being expressed over there in Aries. So it could be protests, yes. Okay. A protest, yes. But it's a good type of protest. And I know that there are some protests going on right now. And it could even be the type of protest where like some people are trying to tell Biden to get a ceasefire by not voting for him or something in the primary thing, some sort of thing like that. And I think that's Gemini, okay? And whoever is speaking, okay, this is what we need to do, they probably have a strong Gemini energy. Geminis are known for being part of protests and things like that, okay? It's a positive expression of Gemini.
Yeah, and a positive with the sextile to Mercury.
Right.
The Saturn Venus square, a little more challenging because it's a square. But you have a nice trine to Pluto and additionally to the South Node. So
Well, and Saturn does represent the system, and typically the system doesn't like it when you protest, but they're good for humans. Protests are usually good.
I always think very brave, very brave.
Yeah. So, all right. So Friday, the 15th, and then we even have the 16th, which is Saturday, and we'll continue with that same energy. The good thing is the interesting thing is that now the moon and Neptune are almost on top. They're only 1 degree away from each other. Sunday, and I imagine by Sunday, yeah, they're the same degree. So this weekend, your vision is coming into your head. You might have a hard time communicating it because it's squaring the moon. And the moon is your emotional side of it, yes, but it's in Gemini, so it's sort of like the intellectuals might not have come together quite yet. It'd probably come together on Sunday.
Right. I was just going to say the next day. This is a time when we go from the Gemini moon, it goes void at 10 p.m. on Saturday night into 3 a.m. So, most people are winding down at that point. So sort of easy and obvious to take a break. And again, the contemplation would then be at that moment moving out of Gemini, mutable air, into Cancer, which is cardinal water. And when the moon, of course, goes into Cancer, it's home, baby. Good to be home. Put your feet up. Have a nice drink or something. Get your favorite snuggly wugglies on and take good care of yourself because you're home.
And that's on Sunday.
Yeah.
And everything is, and then at the same time, Neptune and the sun have come together. So whatever your vision is coming into fruition, or you're probably starting to maybe take action on it, or do it, or make it happen, or communicate with other people that are involved.
Oh, and we're at a crescent moon at this point. So we're halfway to the full moon. The lunar eclipse is coming, 1 more week.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in that energy that's building. You can do it. You've got momentum.
Right. And you can get rid of your shit, Jupiter. If you have some shit you gotta let go of, let it go, because Jupiter could be hard and challenging, but Jupiter will support you in that. And Jupiter's in Taurus still, so, and it is up again, and it is pretty much conjunct Uranus. As Jupiter becomes closer and closer to Uranus, it will help you get on your path. So, and Jupiter is in conjunct to the South Node. And as I said, the South Node represents the shit you got to get rid of or let go of or whatever, right? It's the anus. So let your shit go. Let shit go. So if you find yourself maybe cleaning, house cleaning, or just like, man, I got to go through all my clothes or whatever it is, just do it and get rid of stuff. Now is the time to get rid of stuff. Yeah. So this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I would say, do it. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Even if it feels a little challenging, it will be really good for you. Really, really good for you. Jupiter will bless it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything
it's else? Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, is it?
17th.
Oh, yeah. Happy St.
Well, we also have the Ides of March, but I don't think you say Happy Ides of March. It's known for what? Murder. So,
okay. Yeah. I don't know much
those
about
are the
that
dates
stuff.
of March, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right, my friends. So, LeKross, did you have anything for us?
Yes, I have to recorrect myself again, because I said it was the wolf and I was right. And then I thought I was wrong and said it was the red-tailed hawk or the falcon. And I was wrong, because it's not. We are still in the wolf. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why like when I was reading it, maybe my bifocals weren't working or whatever, but we are still in the wolf. But I did want to mention like how I'm seeing the flow of taking I don't want to say leadership, but yes, leadership. Like you're saying, you're seeing these visions, and wolves are known about leadership. They're known about intuition, following their intuition. But But I wanted to, I was also seeing about the collective and their pack animals.
Right.
But I think with this week and how you kept saying, Bright Hawk, about stepping back in the void moon, taking care of yourself, doing that. I want to give a little quick course on, you have your alpha and your beta. Okay.
Right.
The beta is not the second best. The beta is the one who does the work for the alpha. So I want to clear that up first, because a lot of people think, oh, you're a beta, you're second. No, the beta is the one who is doing every bit of the work. So I think at this point, you're trying to establish your dreams and you're trying to manifest these things. Understand, you don't have to manifest it alone. You have to use the support around you of your pack to help you get there. So that's what I'm getting, because while you're trying to get there, you may need to step back and do that relaxed thing, that void moon part, And so if you have to relax, let your beta go out and finish up the work for you or help you to get to get it going, to get that momentum. So I don't know. It was just really in my head about, this leadership and loyalty that happened with wolves. You have to trust your beta. You have to be willing to trust that support system to help you get through it. So that's pretty much what I'm getting from this week. So
yeah, I think the biggest piece of wisdom I ever learned in all of my leadership training was that you cannot be attached to how things get done.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the whole point to being a leader is that you can't do it all.
Right.
And so you have to just allow others to do whatever they're going to do and allow them to do it their way.
Right.
And really all that matters is that we get to the same place at the end. So you really learn that's one of the best lessons I ever learned, was to just allow it to unfold.
When I was in management, that was one of the things they had always told me. They said, you need to see your people's strengths and know to put them in their strengths so that the job can get done. Being a leader is being able to delegate people with their strengths into what they're good at,
Right.
instead of, saying, okay, you go do this and then get mad because they don't do the job according to the way you want. If you put them in where they're strong at, then you don't get disappointed because you're placing them where they belong as a leader, but yeah, no, 100%.
And also allowing control, like
Yes.
not being perfect control.
Right.
Controlling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely been a lesson and something I've practiced. And I really learned it when I was doing scouts with young, with teenagers. You just had to let it go. You have to.
Yeah, I would echo that. There comes a point in leadership where you recognize you have to let go, and the focus needs to be on outcomes. This is the outcome I need.
Right.
How you get there? Please get there by this time.
Right. And that's pretty much what
step the freaking back and let go and be willing to, hopefully, you might just be delightfully surprised.
And that's what the wolf is really doing.
Yeah.
The bait. You know what I'm saying? Like, the wolf is like, okay, I'm going to just chill back here and I'm going to just let you do it your way. Yeah. And I'm sure it's different. Yeah.
And it's so funny that you used the word beta, because it totally reminded me of my engineering software days and when I was helping design systems for corporations and trying to, before you roll out a really big system, you're always going to do what? Beta test.
Beta test it. Yeah.
Those were the people who really helped you get the kinks out.
Yeah.
And they were vital. And every time management wanted to cut the beta testing short, you were like, no. Yeah. This is throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of thing. Do not cut off beta testing, because beta was where the work got proven. And wolves are all about it. You do the work or you get out.
You're not going to last long in the pack.
Yeah, right? So I always love the perspective that you bring. I always love it's such a good thing to look at things from a different perspective. And animals really help us do that.
Yeah.
They do indeed.
And so does the tarot.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull 3 cards here and see what messages we have from our guides. I believe guides make certain cards fall. I believe that's how tarot works. And so just take whatever works for you. And so here, this is our first card.
The rest.
And yeah, take whatever you like and leave the rest. Okay.
Well, that's quite a
And this is the King of Pentacles, and oh my God, this makes me think of the meme I seen, and I know that Mary Collins listens to our thing. Mary Collins posted, the King of Pentacles is also known as the Sugar Daddy in tarot. Okay, so just so you can remember, if you are learning tarot, the King of Pentacles has all the stuff. And that's interesting because, as you know, our broadcast definitely included a lot of Venus and stuff and money. Um, with Venus's activity of moving into Pisces, and the King of Pentacles is really about what stuff did you have and having everything you need, and it's very I'd say it yeah, I'd say it's somewhere between Venus and Pisces, Venus and Taurus, and Venus and Libra, haha. Because definitely about style and having all the things. And that's pretty much what this is about. This is a reminder of all the things that you do have that was in the past, probably, that or that you already have, that you still have. And this is a reminder of what you have. Interestingly, this card rarely comes up, but here it is. This is the Wheel of Fortune here. And in this deck, the Wheel of Fortune is literally meant to be about all the different ways in which things change and come to a better change. And so this is about the here and now. And what are you being blessed with? Maybe Venus and Pisces is really good for you this week. Maybe the Sun and Neptune conjunct are really helping you see your vision forward, helping you refine your vision or whatever it is that you need there. But that's exactly what this is about. You can see there's like a disco ball on a checkerboard that kind of looks like it's being spun around there. There are some spilled drinks and a fire down in the corner, but I think that that's meant to be, well, those things that you lost, those things that happened that sucked, were meant to bring the fortune, which is up above, which is, the crowd of people with it looks like drag queen legs to me. I guess it could be a woman's legs, but or a transgender person's legs. We don't really know, but we know that they're effeminate legs and kind of Venus-like. Um, and so it's very much about the celebration, and with the disco ball in the middle, it's very much about celebration. It's very much about the light and the goodness that has come. So maybe some shitty stuff has happened and you're coming to a good thing now. Okay. So that's exactly what this is about. It's meant to highlight the good stuff that's coming about. And as you move forward, don't be afraid to share your gifts. And that's exactly what this is about. This always reminds me of like some old fashioned like Marilyn Monroe type of energy. This card, Nine of Pentacles, but it's really about sharing your gift. It's interesting, there's a lot of pentacles going on, and Venus does rule money and stuff. Okay, because we got the King of Pentacles, then we got the Wheel of Fortune, and then we got the Nine of Pentacles.
Wow.
And in this deck, Nine of Pentacles is very much about how you share it. And that could even mean like, oh, I bought myself a cool costume and I performed in drag, right? So that's also part of this. And this is about your future going forward and how you'll share your gifts, how you'll share the goodness that you've gotten. Hopefully, if you are lucky enough to have money, hopefully you share giving, and I believe that helps you. The more generous and grateful you are, the closer to enlightenment you are. I believe those are the two things that really get you to enlightenment, which is gratitude and generosity. And that's what Nine of Pentacles is about. But it's not just about like, giving to your favorite nonprofit. It could also be about in other ways that you share. Okay. other ways that you share your gifts, even if it means doing a tarot reading for your friend, or helping them find how to get free readings, or whatever it is. Okay. Like those are all very important. And so when I do free readings, I try to see me as sharing my gift in a good way. Okay. I try not to. So if you're a professional psychic or a medium or whatever, or an astrologer, I do free little mini astrology readings. And I do that, and that feels good to me because I'm giving back. Okay. So this is about sharing your gifts. So remember, all the things you've already gotten, all of the blessings you've already had, all of the money and things that you have, and you must have something because you're listening to me on something. So you have a phone or a computer or a speaker or whatever it is. And so that's the King of Pentacles. This is about the things you do have, you already have. And this is about and then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is right now. And that's going to be about the good things that are coming into fruition right now. Okay. And that sometimes there's a cycle of things that must be lost in order for good things to move in. Right. You have to take the old boring comedian off the stage so you can listen to the drag queen. Okay. And so that's pretty much what this is about. This is about letting go of the things that no longer apply, and to the gifts and things that you're getting now that are fortunate. Okay. Try to count your blessings. Gratitude, super important. And then this is about generosity, sharing your gift, especially sharing your gifts, not just money, but your gifts. Okay. And so however that looks for you, it could be in a lot of different ways. Some people, go out and serve food to the homeless, or or whatever it is that you do, please do that. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. This is about generosity of sharing your gifts. Okay. So interesting that all of that energy came up, all of that stuff
that was a lot.
came up with Pisces, right? And I'm like, with Venus.
Yeah.
That's weird. Mm-hmm. So
well,
very Venus reading.
Very Venus reading. Yeah, different than what we've seen. So it's really interesting.
Yeah. Definitely really different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. Well, please like and comment. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Mary Ellis Collins, and everyone else that is out there commenting. Tamara, we appreciate you too. Thank you for commenting and sharing. Thank you, Quellen, for listening, and Eve for listening. Thank you all.
We hope you all have a great week.
So thanks for watching Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's Soulstrology and subscribing, liking, sharing, and reviewing. We hope you enjoy this dose of Soulstrology and encourage you to embrace the week ahead with an open mind and heart so that you may integrate the deepest of lessons from the stars. Take a moment to step outside and honor the planet, stars, and moon in the sky with your heart. Integrate the messages that resonate and leave the rest for someone else. We deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember that you are a perfectly unique human with an exclusive star map of your destiny, your soul purpose, and your heart's desire. Thank you again for tuning in to Rainbow Soul.